We are live.
Yay! I see that.
Okay.
Yay!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of So Get This. And tonight we have a few exciting things going on. Most importantly, you see the young lady in the window there. That is Kat Loveland. Hi, Kat.
Hello, everyone.
So Kat has a website that I'm going to pull up right here, and it's amazing. It's called spnfamilycentral.com. You may or may not have already heard about this. If not, well then go there now, but still watch. You can have two windows going on, right? Okay. So we're going to talk about this amazing website and the amazing woman behind the scenes, behind the curtain, Oz herself. Okay, so pardon me while I look at two different screens to pull up my questions because I got better than looking at my phone the whole time now. Okay. So let's get right to it.
All right, we can do this.
All right, we can do this. Okay, so you have a site called www.spnfamilycentral.com. Now, the chat window, unfortunately, for whatever reasons, does not allow me to type web addresses in it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it the ghetto way. Okay, so SPN family, the words DOT and the words com. There.
Family Central. It's SPN Family Central.
Ignore that. See, that's what I get for trying to do it, trying to cheat. Family Central. Okay, now the word stop. There we go.
All right.
Okay. So the cover page, the first thing you notice when you go to this website is your cover page, and it has two amazing statements on it. The first one being, when a fandom united, nothing is impossible. And the second phrase that you have on there is finding hope, saving lives, a family business. So why don't you tell us about where those came from and how this page came to be in the first place?
Okay. My fandom journey, started in 2013. I had a friend, her name's Kiko. She told me, I kind of started getting into Arrow, and then she was like, you need to watch Supernatural. I was like, okay. And then I went to Netflix and and the journey began. But I went and started following Stephen Amell was the first star I followed on Twitter or Facebook. I was following him when he was under 300,000 fans. I'm one of the early followers. And he very early on he saw the power behind his Facebook page when it was mid-season 2, I believe. Yeah, halfway through season 2 is when he started auctioning things off. He would auction off Arrow figures that DC had sent him and stuff like that. Because he, from the beginning, is like, I want to find a way to raise money for charity. I want to make a difference. I want to make an impact. And so his first attempts were kind of start and go. And he's like, why am I doing this way? But he worked out the kinks. And then he ended up doing the Represent campaign for Fuck Cancer, which between all of it, he relaunched it 3 times, I think, if I remember, raised about $2 million for that charity. And that really kind of opened my eyes to what fandom could do. Because I mean, basically it was all through his Facebook page. It's like he had fans design art for the shirts. He's like, give me your ideas. What do you think should be on this shirt? And he kind of conglomerated a bunch of different ideas and put it together and, did the shirts and sold all these shirts. And it was done specifically just strictly through his Facebook page, just to his personal fans. Obviously fans of the show, but it's kind of become more, I always nickname the Amell fandom, the Amell Army was one of the things that came up with. It was like the Amell Army. And then I kind of got involved in the Supernatural fandom, and I saw what Jared was doing with, Always Keep Fighting and everything else, and Misha with Random Acts, et cetera, et cetera. And it sunk in that, here are millions of people who live all across the world. And the thing that really sunk in for me is my first attempt at doing something on the internet fandom related. I also run the J2 Matchup Need shirt page on Facebook. I got this idea from SPN Sil on Twitter. I know a lot of people know who she is.
I know.
Yep, she did. I saw her do her Twitter matchups on the first shirt campaign. And then when the second shirt campaign came around, I'm like, well, she's got Twitter handled. I'll go ahead and hop over on Facebook, because I did more Facebook than Twitter back then. I'm like, this is going to be easier to put together on Facebook. So between the second and the third shirt campaign, that page matched 500 people.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Shirts. And my friend Kai, hi Kai, I know, hopefully she's watching. But she, I met her through the page, and she was the first person who was just like, "You're going to need help with this. What do you need help with?" And I was like, "No, I'll be fine." About a day and a half in, I was like, oh my God, messages everywhere. What do I do? And because it was just message after message after message, and the page just exploded. And we've worked out all the kinks now, 2 campaigns in. We know Jared will always extend the campaign. We've gotten used to this. We've accepted this. The first campaign, we're counting down. Yay, it's almost done. And then we looked, it was like 7 more hours. But wait, it was just 2 hours. Dang you, Jared. So we've worked out all the kinks. We have spreadsheets now. But to me, hey, you need them doing this. When I had people post on the page and send messages. One of the people, I'll never forget this. She's like, this is a lady who was living in, I believe, China. She's like, I'm living in Asia and I'm having shirts mailed to Australia, the UK, and America. And if you just kind of think about what that means, I mean, I know we all know we're an international fandom, but literally these are people who will never meet each other, who don't even know each other. Most of these are anonymous donors who are trusting us, me and Kai, who are running the page, that we're legit. Obviously, we're just, sending everybody to the represent page, but we're coordinating all of this stuff. And they're like, hey, yeah, I'll spend, we had, and I know SPN still has this too. We've had people that donated 10, 15, 20 shirts.
Oh my God.
Now,
wow.
If you think about that, $22 a shirt for the t-shirts, and 20 of those, that's $400 to $500 on shirts. So that's kind of when it sunk into me. I'm like, if we can just work together instead of all the little bickering that tends to happen in the fandom when we don't have a united cause, there's just so much that the fandom itself can do that just is mind blowing. And so that's kind of where those phrases came from. And then the help, finding hope, saving lives, that launched out sort of from the AKF campaign. And then seeing all the posts, even people who didn't get shirts on the J2 page, we just didn't have enough donors. They ended up connecting with people who kept talking to them. My friend Susan, who's donated several shirts, she's still talking to some of these people she's donated to. And these are people in the Philippines. And they've built up an internet relationship because she's donated shirts to them. She's like, she would ask me, hey, is it okay if I contact them? I'm like, yeah, I'd ask them. And they said, yeah. So they'd start chatting, and she's like, oh, okay. And she's still talking to these people. And some of these people have no one else to talk to sometimes. And they're talking to a woman who lives thousands of miles away. So it's...
That was an unexpected side effect.
Yeah, that was not, I mean, when I first started that Facebook page, I didn't think it was going to go anywhere because, it's a page on Facebook. And this was before I was big, quote, quote, on Twitter. So I was like, who's going to know about this? And it just spread organically. And I'm so thankful for Kai because it's like, she was the one, she's like, let's write things down. I'm like, oh yeah, organization. Because we try to keep track of order numbers and who's going where and who's doing what. And it can get intense, but so that's kind of where that came from. And then why I launched the site, which is very specific. I didn't want to do another fan site that was like, oh, Jared and Jensen were out on the pier taking pictures today. You can find that anywhere, and there's nothing against those sites. Don't get me wrong, but I wanted a site that highlighted what the fandom and the cast do, whether it be creative stuff like I've interviewed you. Everybody here, this is something she made. I've interviewed you. And I also wanted to talk to fans who are doing charity projects, who are doing cast projects, because I think it's really interesting to see what prompts that, and then to see how much we actually do as a fandom, and to kind of have a one-stop place to go to, if another little battle between one thing or another erupts in the fandom, this is always a place you can go to and go, oh, okay, we can all work together. We're all on the same page. And I wanted to highlight everything that the fandom does and our crew and cast. I have a couple articles with Ryan Curtis and Guy Norman B. I did Ryan Curtis Weirdo Hero, the movie that he premiered at VanCon, which deals with depression. Guy Norman B is doing a movie based off a book a friend of his wrote that has classic cars and two guys on a road trip, because this doesn't sound familiar, but it's a different story.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and so it was cool to say, hey, these SPN alums are doing these other things and try to help them find funding. So I really wanted to create a site that was all about what the fandom does together and the things that we do maybe to kind of help each other and help the cast and crew. So that was where the origination of it came. And then, I have that section that's interviews with crafty people. There's just so much amazing crafty people in all fandoms. I mean, not just Supernatural, obviously, but there's only so much social media reach people can get at certain points. So to be able to maybe find an artist who's really good, who's new at social media, or who just doesn't understand how this all works, and be like, hey, let me interview you really quick and just do a quick 10-question interview and highlight some of their work. You never know where it's going to lead. And I've hooked up with Amy Johnston, who's working on the Supernatural art show. And so we're kind of bouncing off each other. And it's kind of cool. We're actually having artwork that was donated, sent to Travis Aaron Wade at the Dallas Con. It's going to be signed and auctioned off for Truth, and signed by cast members, if all goes well. That's the plan. So,
person.
Huh? Oh, what?
Exciting to see how that goes. I'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, because you're going to be there. It's the site itself took off a lot faster than I thought it would. So it's been kind of cool to get the feedback I've gotten from it.
That's excellent. So how can someone get on your radar? If you haven't, can someone reach out to you and say, hey, I've got this great idea, or I've been working on this type of project or whatever? Can they reach out to you?
They can hit me up on Twitter. There's a Facebook page now, SPN Family Central on Facebook. Either of those places work. Let me know, hey, I've got this project going, and let me know what it is and who it's for, and we'll chat and we'll do an interview and I'll post it. I always, and you know this because we've done an interview, I always have you look at the interview before I post it. I want to make sure that you like what what's getting out there. So I'm not going to be like, oh, you said this, poof, and show it to you without letting you okay it first, because that's not cool. But I do suggest that people that do that try to, sorry, my the screen's dying on me. If you have links or whatever, make sure that you include that when you get a hold of me so I can find out what the project is. I know some of these projects don't, but if you have a specific Twitter or something that's set up for it, let me see that too, just so it's easier to put it all together.
Do you also accept submissions from artists who are not necessarily doing a project that's, charitable, but they just wanted to say, hey, you know what, I've got this great product and, I want to share it with the masses. Would you be interested in something?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Most of the artists, the first couple artists I did were people I saw, and I was like, hey, I love your artwork. Do you want to hook up? I can do an interview with you and put you on my site. And they're like, sure. And then I've just finished interviewing pretty much everybody that's involved with the SPN art show, the Supernatural art show that's coming up in October. So all the co-founders I've interviewed.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was going to ask you about the Supernatural art show. Do you want to give some more information about that?
I can. It's Amy Johnston who's the main person behind it, but there is an entire interview article on my site. If you go to fan projects for family in the menu there, you have to scroll down. Basically, the show is going to be on Twitter. And this is what I think is really, really super cool about the concept is they created hashtag Supernatural Art Show. And October 3rd, you can upload your art to Twitter and tag it with that hashtag. And then people can follow the hashtag and see all this amazing artwork. There's some few guidelines, basically make sure it's safe for work because it's Twitter. You never know who's going to be watching it or looking at it. So just make sure. Yeah, but other than that, it's all medias, all kinds of art, whatever, the whole concept of really is to get artist exposure by seeing what this is. And, she and Amy and the rest of the crew from there are very, very set on like, hey, link to your website, link to your DeviantArt, link to your Tumblr, because we want people to go, oh, this is cool. I want to see more. Click, and that's kind of their goal with the show, is to make it something where artists can just promote themselves in a really cool, fun way. So that's kind of the whole, and I found out about it because I saw the hashtag, I saw Twitter somewhere, and I was like, this is a really cool idea. So I just did the usual, hey, I have this site. Do you want to chat? And she's like, hey, sure. Because I knew, because it's going to be Twitter related, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, they're not going to be able to explain what's in that show on Twitter without having to repost things 60 million times. Right. So it's like, let me give you an article and a platform that you can put all of what the show's about and, your guidelines, so you can refer people to that. And she was like, yes, thank you. And so it kind of worked out. I was like, let's make this easy to send everybody to. So, and that's October 2nd, I believe, is when that's the 2nd or the 3rd is when it's coming up. And then if you're curious, there is a Twitter at SPN Art Show. And that's the Twitter for it.
I'll put the Twitter handle here. At SPN Art Show.
Yeah, and you can send all questions and concerns and requests and whatever to there, and they will get back to you. It's a really cool concept. I really like this whole concept. And apparently, Mama Tran is hopefully going to be premiering a piece at the art show.
Really?
She has been painting a portrait of Osric for a while. And she was going to premiere it earlier for some other thing, but with her work schedule and whatever, it's taken longer to finish than she thought. So she posted on the SPN Art Show Twitter that she was going to have it ready for that and actually display it. So, and then I think she's going to auction it off for Homeboy, her charity. Yeah. So
yeah, I know the charity very well.
So yeah, so if you're on there, you never know who might pop up,
I'm dying to see what that looks like.
I've seen. I saw a preview of it when I did the interview. Actually, my interview with Lauren Tran. I posted a picture of it in there, I think, or she showed me some of what it's looking like. It looks really cool. So it's a really cool piece.
Awesome! Oh, that's fantastic. Wow, I can't wait to see what that looks like. I interviewed her a while back, and she was like one of my favorite interviews. She's a lovely human being, very generous heart.
Yeah.
So, what kind, aside from Lauren Tran, what other kind of feedback have you gotten from other cast members and crew members about what you're doing?
Brian and Guy Norman. Okay, I have to admit, I have a thing for Guy Norman B, because he's the first crew member that ever tweeted me back during a live tweeting session. And I tweeted him something. I asked him actually like more of like a process question about how a scene was shot on Twitter. And I was like, oh, he won't see it. And he responded back. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh. My friend Susan's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, Guy Norman B. I was all excited. So when I saw him post something about his movie that he's doing, The Last Rock and Roll Show, I was like, don't. And I was like, and he got right back to me. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And he's like, awesome. He's like, send me questions. And I know after I posted the article, I saw he got a little bit more funding for it because he's doing a crowdfund project for it. Yeah. And so that was cool. And then I used him when I saw Brian Curtis posting about Weirdo Hero. I was like, well, hey, I've already talked to Guy Norman B. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. I'd like to see if, I can kind of talk about this, because I hadn't really heard much about it. And I'm like, since it's dealing with depression, and, it's kind of a thing in the fandom, I want to make sure people know about this. And he was like, sure. So we did an interview, and then I posted it, and I DM'd him like a day or two later. And he's like, I've gotten so much more Twitter interest off of that, off of the interview that we did. And so apparently it did push up a bit more Twitter hits for him. So, you know, it's one of those things with social media. You can never really like, this got posted and you got this, but he did mention that he seemed to get a lot more Twitter traffic off of it for a while. So that's cool. And he liked it. And then I just did the one with Travis Aaron Wade about truth, where he talked to me on the phone for an hour. Oh, and that was fun. And then it was interesting because his most recent Periscope, he kind of recapped what we talked about in the article. And the reason I wanted to talk to him was because I knew there was more to truth than had been kind of discussed previously. And I always kind of got the feel like it was a nebulous concept. They was still kind of fleshing it out as to what it was. And so I was like, you know what, let's see if I can get more behind this. Because I was kind of thinking, since Travis has always been so active, maybe hooking up some artists with I've always had this thing with trying to hook up fan art with charity. So this is all kind of working out really well. Yeah. And so when Travis went into a lot more detail about what truth was, I was just like, this is what the fandom needs to hear, is what's really going on with this organization. And I was flabbergasted with his whole vision of hiring fans and creating jobs for fans to run truth, and highlighting these people who've been struggling for so long, and the whole concept with having them have panels at cons. I was like, good luck, because creation. Yeah. But I give him props for trying. But you know, if he ends up getting it to work out that way, then that's awesome. And I think in a way, I know there's still people like, well, why are you doing this for a fan? But I think in a way it'll help other fans, because they'll be able to connect with people that are struggling even more. Yeah. You know, it's the whole AKF support thing. And it might end up working in favor, since we now have this thing going on with sharing stories at cons now. Maybe if they have a person outside of the cast that they can speak to, it might take some of the weight off the cast, as far as having a lot of these stories shared. And, you know, maybe kind of, they're hitting their limit a little bit, maybe. You know, that's a whole other story. But I like the concept of highlighting a fan that has been struggling and fighting, and then kind of using the con as a way to raise money for them too. So I think it's kind of cool, but go ahead.
It's using fan power for good.
Exactly. And I think once he gets a couple of these under his belt, I think people will see the power behind it. So, but so far, everybody that I've interviewed seems to think that it went really well. So that's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
I was going to, in our chat, Linda, Rogue One made a comment. You're referring to truth, I presume. Not nebulous anymore. Jared's shirt is almost at $1,000 now.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I figured as soon as a Jared product came on the site, that would skyrocket. So. But that's cool. But and that's kind of cool too, is allowing cast members to maybe, you know, give back some of this stuff. And I like the whole concept that Travis had behind it, of like, there's so much stuff that they get just for being actors on a successful show, or any show really. You know, they get all this stuff, and for them to be able to have a place to put it, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So sorry, my phone's going off.
No, you're fine.
It's playing Carry On, so you know.
So it's okay. It's in theme. It's in scheme.
It's in theme. But yeah, so I think that's kind of cool, how he's kind of recycling actor stuff to raise money for charity.
Yeah, one of the things that he and I had talked about when I interviewed him too is that he was so honed in and conscious of, you know, we have all of these fans that are spending all of this money to be at these conventions, and on top of that, they're spending even more money to give gifts to him and to the other actors. And he was very adamant about saying, stop.
Yep.
We are okay. We can afford to buy ourselves things. You need to use this money for people who don't have the ability to take care of themselves and do things for themselves. That's where you focus your financial contribution. You know, we don't need the flowers and the candy and the gifts. but there are other fans who could use your help. And I think that message, you know, I love the fact that, you know, that message resonates with every interview that he does.
Yeah.
You know, he cares so deeply.
Yeah, he's very passionate about that whole concept. And it was interesting talking to him and getting his perspective of the other side of it, of being on stage. And, you know, going from, oh, I'm a working actor, I'm no big deal, to I'm on stage and 2,000 or 3,000 people are screaming for me, and you're just like, the heck, you know, just like, whoa. But, you know, and he was talking about too about all the stories he hears, and how it's just, they talk about that in the green rooms, you know, and while they're waiting to do their things, they're like, ah, did you hear this story? Did you hear that story? And what can we do to help these people? And I think that's one thing I think that all these conventions, especially conventions in general, but the supernatural conventions seem to really be bringing out more and more, is this whole concept of we're all in this together. We can all help each other. Yeah. And I think that, you know, at one point the show will be canceled. We'll be sad. But I think by starting this whole process of the whole family fandom, it'll make the show, the concept of the show and the whole idea of the show of the brothers fighting against everything, sort of resonate for much longer after the show ends, because we're going to kind of have this whole basically foundation to do these things. So
exactly, no pun intended, it will carry on through, you know, way after that. See, I was trying to do it seriously.
She's like, I got to bring it back.
No, but what I was,
we'll bring this back to the show.
To further elaborate on your point, you know, it will, I mean, there are so many powerful, strong messages that the show has, and the reason why it's been on the air for so many years. And when it does eventually end, please don't give me hate mail because I said the word end. It's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
They want to do, you know, every episode inside of a retirement home, but you know,
and we'd still be watching. But anyway,
just because the show will no longer be on the air doesn't mean that all the powerful messages and wonderful things that have come of it will also end. That, you know, that needs to continue. And I think, you know, through all of these different, you know, avenues here, you know, with all these different fans doing amazing things like what you're doing, this will continue way past the life of the show. And Rogue is also saying, you meant it, Jody. Yeah, I did. So what? You know me. When there's an opportunity for a horribly bad joke, I have to take it. It's just the way it goes. I make an ass out of myself professionally. So that's just, you know, me. Back to you. So now you are so wonderful and you focus on all of these creative people and you give them a platform and a spotlight. What about you? What do you do for a creative outlet for yourself?
Oh God, I write fanfic. I write way too much fan fiction. Okay, so here's the short story. Years ago, before I got involved in shows, I had a friend that was basically couch surfing at my house. She was a stray. I kind of adopted her. She was having a lot of problems. I was like, here, come crash on my couch, stay in my house. And she would literally write fan fiction on her phone at night with the lights out. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm updating my story and that. I'm like, what? Why are you spending hours doing this? What, you know, in my head, I'm like, well, if you're so, you know, why don't you, as many fan fiction writers have heard, and I have written my own original novels. So I've done both, but you know, why aren't you writing your own stories? Why are you writing fan fiction? And she's like, oh, well, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay. And then I had an idea for combining Arrow and Supernatural. The concept was that Lilith was setting up opening gates to hell in Starling City and had dispatched 60 demons to Starling City to open gates to hell. And the idea was like, how would Oliver Queen, billionaire vigilante, deal with demons? And I was like, he could hire pumper trucks and fill them full of water and then bless them. And from there, I wrote a almost 50,000 word fan fiction, my very first one, bringing the boys and Oliver together. And since then, I have written 7 other Arrow Supernatural crossovers. They tend to be pretty well received because there's not a lot of them from what I can see out there. I've also written 17-ish other fan fictions, Castiel specific ones, Supernatural specific ones, but the ones that seem to draw the most attention are the crossovers. And I keep them very centered in the show. So I have to screw with timelines, obviously, because Supernatural's been on so much longer than Arrow, but I make it work. It's fan fiction. Although the very first one I wrote, I had a problem because I brought in Ruby, and this was Ruby 1.0. Katie Cassidy is playing Laurel on Arrow. And so people are like, so how did Oliver not recognize Laurel? I'm like, shut up. I'm like, it's not my fault that CW reuses actors. Shh, it's fan fiction. So I was like, yeah. So in one I'm writing now, I actually bring that up where Sam's like, she looks so much like Ruby. I don't know why. So I was like, okay. But so that's what I do. I used to do photography. And then my brother let me borrow his Uber camera for a while. He had a really awesome high-end camera. And then I had to give it back. And then it wasn't as fun because I couldn't play with as much as I wanted to because I couldn't shoot at night and other things that I used to do because my camera didn't have the capabilities. So I was just like, but so that's kind of what I do. I do photography and I write. And one of the things I'm starting to do now, not creative wise, but I'm also closed captioning convids because my helper, my friend Kai, she's actually deaf. And so we've talked about how hard it is for hearing impaired people to go to conventions because creation doesn't bring in interpreters.
Right.
And so I've started a project where I'm closed captioning convids, and it takes a lot longer than you think it would because you're having to type it all out and they talk a lot. And but I've got a couple people helping me on that. So that's something that I've been working on. I have a YouTube channel that I've slowly been uploading them to. So that's something that I'm doing too. But that's kind of the stuff that I do in my spare time.
So much of that, right? There's a here by a lovely lady by the name of Sue Ladigo, who I happen to know. I roomed with you at a con not too long ago, actually. And okay. She wrote, no, she does not write too much fanfic. She writes awesome fanfic.
Oh, has she read my fan fiction?
Apparently.
Oh, Sue? Oh, Sue Ladigo? Yep. Ladigo. Susan is my friend Susan, actually, that I was telling you about.
Susan. Okay. Okay. Yep, and then also had another comment from Rogue, who wrote that she'd be looking for an X-Files Supernatural crossover. That would be I
haven't watched X-Files enough to do that. I did ponder, I don't know if anybody out there knows Jim Butcher's Dresden Files, but I did. It's a book series that's urban paranormal. Harry Dresden is a wizard, current time, and it's written amazingly well. And I thought of blending those two together, but I got stuck like half a chapter in, and I was like, I can't pull this off. But I do have an iZombie Supernatural crossover that I've written.
And that's what Sue mentions here too. She wrote that the iZombie Supernatural crossover is amazing.
Have you watched iZombie? Do you know what that show is at all?
I know what it's about, but I have not yet.
So how I work that together is Liv, the zombie. When the zombies in that realm eat brains, they get visions of the people whose brains they've eaten. Okay. And so she would see how they got killed. And so she is now working with the cops, sort of kind of, because she's an Emmy, to solve murders. Well, perfect setup for this was I had a hunter in her city get killed, a hunter who happened to know Sam. This female hunter and Sam are having an on-again, off-again fling thing. And the female hunter calls Sam right before she gets killed and says, hey, I'm in Seattle, I need help. And then she gets killed. So Sam and Dean go to Seattle. Liv is the medical examiner, ate the lady's brains, and so now knows everything, knows a lot about the hunter world, and ends up knowing who Sam and Dean are because of the memories of the hunter that got killed. Gotcha. So I ended up linking them really well. I was like, yes.
That's awesome. How can we Before I ask that question, I just wanted to,
Sure.
Carrie, who is a very staunch supporter, has joined us, and she's saying hi, late to the party, but she's here. So, hey, Carrie.
Hey.
I'm glad to see you here. So my question to you is, how do we read your fanfic? Can we access it or anywhere?
Yes, I'm on fanfiction.net and Wattpad. And my username on both is the same. It's Chaos Lilith. So CHAOS and then LILLITH.
Okay, all one word, Chaos Lilith?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay. So Chaos Lilith on fanfiction.net
and Wattpad.
Fanfiction. And I'm sorry, what's the other site?
Wattpad, WATT pad.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I never heard of that one.
It's a newer one. It started about 3 or 4 years ago. That one has an app. I first started writing on fanfiction. So if you go to fanfiction.net, some of the early stories aren't very well edited. Wattpad has everything I've ever written. So the Wattpad one is more up to date. So if you want to see all 21 of them, they're all on Wattpad. So, because I converted over to Wattpad and then Wattpad pissed me off with an update. So I started going back to fanfiction, but I copy and paste. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad. Oh, so now that's something that I look forward to reading. That's really cool. So you said that some of your Supernatural fanfic is cast related. Would he?
Yes.
One of your more favorite characters, or?
I like all of them. I did a cast specific one for Ender for Kindenss last year. And so I binge wrote, which I do anyway, but I was like, now I have a reason. So my goal was to do 12,000 words in a day, and I did 10. So that was kind of cool. But what I did was it was a cast specific one where it was right after the fall from heaven at the end of season 8, basically. And hello, person in the corner. You have
This is my son Jade.
Hi Jade, how are you? But it's right after he falls and he's mortal. So he's homeless. And since E4K and Misha does a lot with homeless stuff, I basically was like, how does Cass, this is like, basically it was like a couple days in the life of Cass being homeless. And now he has to figure out how to be human and what hunger is. And they touched that a little bit in the show, but I ended up doing several other things with it as well. Where, he runs across a veterinarian and she kind of gives him some hope onto how he can still help, even though he's mortal instead of an angel now. So that's one of them I did. And then I did a couple others where, one where, because we've never really seen them in angel form. And so I did a fan fiction where they're up in heaven, where he ends up going up to heaven, and I have him flying around in angel form. And so I describe his wings and the whole 9 yards. And so that's kind of fun because it's all done through heaven. Awesome. So yeah, that one's kind of fun. So I had fun making him like 1,000 feet tall.
Is he really as big as the Chrysler Building?
Yep. I keep that accurate. I keep that. They say it in canon, so I keep it accurate. He is as big as the Chrysler Building. But I make his wings multicolored, metallic. So they're gold, bronze, and copper. So they're alternating colors. And so, yeah, I do a whole thing where he basically is really close to death. And he has to decide whether or not he's going to come back or stay. Sorry, somebody is knocking on my door. Hang on a second. And they keep knocking. So hold on just a second here. I don't know why. Hang on a second. I know. Hold on a second.
We're fine. So in a little bit, we're going to announce the Kindenss Catchphrase Contest winner. And we're going to have a trivia question for a chance to win a $50 gift certificate. And yeah, so if you have any questions for Kat, throw them in the chat window here. I'll make sure she sees them. And here she comes. Hi.
Sorry, random people I don't know, so I didn't open my door. Like, I don't know who you are. I'm
There.
busy. So.
Wow.
Perks of living in an apartment complex.
Oh joy. Oh wow. Wow.
So, but yeah, so that's kind of what that one is, and I've done one or two others that are cast, but I like all the characters. I always tell people, describe my fan fiction as I play with the dark spaces in the story, the places they don't really delve into in the show. One of the one that I ended up writing after my very first crossover, because people were like, write a sequel, we love you. And I'm just like, I don't have an idea. And somebody's like, well, how about after when Dean goes to hell? And I was like, they never really explored how bad Sam got when that happened. I mean, you see it a little bit in flashbacks, but I end up making it so that, Team Arrow ends up having to save Sam from himself. He's become basically a suicidal alcoholic. They find him face down in a hotel, completely drunk, and they help him come back from that. And so that's kind of what I try to do in a lot of my fan fictions is kind of explore the little dark spots that they hint about in the show, but you don't really get to see it. Because I like, there's so much to play with in the world that they've created. I'm like, let's just keep them there and just expand it here and here and here. So that's what I do with my stuff.
That's excellent. That's
Thank
excellent. There's a suggestion, a Doctor Who crossover with the Ninth Doctor and Crowley.
Oh, okay. I'll have to watch Doctor Who though.
Yeah, my daughter does, and I know who he is, and that's about it.
Yeah. I do. My fandoms are pretty much Arrow, iZombie, and Supernatural right now. Those are my fandoms, and I adore the writing on iZombie. If you guys haven't watched it out there, go to Netflix, or I don't know if it's on Netflix yet, but go to Amazon. Huh?
I was just going to ask you if it's on Netflix, because I would be interested in starting that one.
I don't know if it's on there yet, but CW still has, I think, all the episodes on there, the CW site.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have all that stuff. But watch it. It's so clever and it's so funny. And it's just so well done. It just cracks me up. So yeah. Those are my three fandoms right now.
I only have two active ones. It's obviously Supernatural, I guess, right? And Walking Dead, actually.
Oh, okay.
Daryl Dixon is my husband. He just doesn't know it. My husband even gave me a shirt that reads Mrs. Daryl Dixon on it because he's given up. So I have a couple of questions that I ask all of my guests because I love asking stupid, cheesy questions sometimes too. One of them being, if you were trapped on an island with an SPN character, any SPN character of your choice, it can only be one, who would it be and why?
I'd have to go with Dean just for sure survival points. I mean, theoretically, you should go for Cass because he is an angel, but it would really depend what season Cass and how his grace is going at that point, huh?
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't want crazy Cass on the island, right?
No, but for sure, survival points. I would definitely have to go with Dean. I love Sam, and Sam on his own is very resourceful, but I think for sheer, hunting things down and taking things out, and if it was like an island like Oliver Queen is on kind of thing, then I'd go with Dean. If it was a tropical island that no one was with me on, I'd probably go with Sam. It was more like a luxury island. I might have to go with Sam on that one.
I could see that. Okay. Ooh, my phone is being obnoxious now. Sorry.
You're fine.
Again, welcome to the live stream. So now the other question I have for you is complete this sentence.
Okay.
All you need is
love. I would have to agree with him. No, I would say that yeah. And I think Doesn't have to be like, there's that meme that goes around where everybody says everybody needs a Sam. And have you seen that one where there's all the different versions of, the best friend Sam? I think just knowing that somebody cares about you is what gets you through pretty much everything. So I'd have to agree with your son. Smart kid.
Really, right? I take full credit for everything.
I just took it from a Beatles song.
Yes, I know. I got the question. Smart butt. Oh yeah, he wanted me to.
No, I just showed it to him. I just gave it to him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Cute.
He just drew this in like 2 minutes. He's obsessed with Dragon Ball Z.
He's got talent.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Okay. That you had nothing to do with that card you just put in front of my face. That's from that we bought. I don't even know where.
Mom.
Anyway, yes. Oh, yes. He was showing me that's
the model. Yeah.
Okay.
I understood. It's okay. I got it.
Okay. What is this? Comic book superheroes name. Oh, name 10 comic book superheroes named after animals.
I got it from Bazooka.
It's from Bazooka. They don't do the Bazooka Joe comics anymore, apparently.
No.
I used to do dramatic readings of Bazooka Joe comics.
Nice.
I swear. It was, this is totally non sequitur. My apologies in advance, but like I would chew Bazooka like a lot.
Right.
Comics, and I would do like these dramatic interpretations of Bazooka Joe is desperately looking at his father for approval.
Wait. I'll sequitur it back to you. Remember Catherine Newton and the dramatic reenactment of the cat thing?
Yes.
Saved you. You're welcome. Now we're back to Supernatural.
Here we go. Round and back we are. Okay.
Well, isn't that what they say on Tumblr, that everything Supernatural fans find something to relate in any way to the show? Like anything relates to Supernatural on Tumblr?
Anything. Hey, okay. Anybody who's watching right now, avocado. Make it Supernatural now. Go. I want to see it. In the meantime, avocado. Make it a Supernatural reference. Okay, so now what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to announce the winner of the Kindenss Catchphrase contest. Speaking of all the, the great community building that you've been doing, you are not the winner of the Kindenss Catchphrase contest.
Yes,
there's something called
Wowie-zowie.
it's called like nepotism, and it doesn't work. Go sit. I love you. No nepotism here. Okay, so what I had done was there was a lot of drama going on at several of the conventions that I had been working at, and I had been getting some feedback from fans also saying they were being bullied and just really horrendous stories, and I wanted to try to create a piece that was centered around just building community amongst the fandoms. I don't care what fictional characters you want dating each other or otherwise, or I don't care what anybody considers canon. We all enjoy the show for our own unique different reasons, but we all enjoy the same show. Can we just for lack of a better phrase,
Get along.
Please, seriously. So I wanted to create something that, we could use in the fandom to remind ourselves of, just being nice to each other. So I ran the Kindenss Catchphrase contest, and I had everybody coming to me through email and on Twitter with their suggestions of what a good Kindenss catchphrase could be, and I picked one. I found one that is succinct to the point. It embodies exactly what I was looking for. And the phrase that won is Kindenss, the SPN family business.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
I think that is just, it's exactly what I wanted. It's no nonsense. It's to the point, and it says it all.
Okay.
The winner, the writer of said catchphrase, is Micheline Russell, who I believe is watching us tonight.
Yay! Is she there?
I believe she is. So Kindness, the SPN family business, is the kindness catchphrase. Now, what I will be doing with that catchphrase is designing a piece specifically about that. And that will be aired at my next episode. Yeah, she's squealing right now. She's watching. Ah! You won. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Nice.
I'm so proud of you. And everybody, I want to say I got such amazing ideas. So many people submitted amazing things. And it really was just so heartwarming to read them all because you guys were thinking so hard about this and coming up with great ideas. And it just showed all of the compassion and the love that we all have in our hearts and that we need to just spread out there, get it out there. And this phrase is the one that resonated the most to me. So I'm really, really happy and proud to say that I will be designing a piece, Kindness SPN Family Business. It'll be debuted next week, and Micheline will be receiving hers for free.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the next thing I just wanted to mention really quickly is the Always Keep Fighting campaign and where we stand on that. To date, we have raised $1,857 for Always Keep Fighting.
Yay!
I'm really hoping, my goal is, I was hoping by Dallas to get it to 2,000, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Hopefully by New Jersey, we'll be up to the 2,000 mark because I would really like to present the boys with a, hey, look what the fans have done because of you guys. Look what we've done. So we're still in great shape. In this, like I said, it's an ongoing campaign. There's no end. It's not, okay, we've reached this, so now I'm going to stop. No, I mean, there will always be people who need reminders to always keep fighting, and I will always have that for everyone.
If I can pivot off that for a second too, real quick. Speaking of charity raising and for fan art, there is a GoFundMe that I've set up for Attitudes in Reverse. And there's a link. I won't read it to you. I'll just tweet it out to you and you can retweet it. That if you donate, we have 2 pieces of fan art that have been donated. It's signed. They're both signed by the artists. One is a picture of the boys basically on a mountain jumping into a waterfall, which is amazing. And then the other one is by Amy, and it's an artistic rendition of the I'm Proud of Us scene from the end of the last season. Not 10, but 9. So they're both up there, and then everybody who donates will get a chance to win. We're going to pull 2 names, and you can pick, whichever one you want. And and then all the funds are going to go to Attitudes in Reverse. So you can win a piece of signed fan art. So there you go. Wanted to share since you were on the fundraising thing. I'm like, oh, I've got one.
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning it. And please tweet me the information or email me the information. I'll make sure I get it out there too. That's great. And I see one of our viewers, Jen Hightower. Would that be you? She had run the Attitudes in Reverse table in VanCon a couple weeks ago. So, I know the cause very well. And she had actually asked me to design a bracelet that read, Always Keep Fighting, Stronger Together, AIR. So AKF, Stronger Together, AIR. Yeah, so that's, cool. I love that all of these great organizations are being formed just as a result of enjoying this show.
I actually have a pretty in-depth interview with the founder of Attitudes Reverse too on the site. Because they're actually the daughter is actually a Supernatural fan, and she got her mom, who's the founder of Attitudes in Reverse, into the show. So they were actually fans prior, and I found that out, and I was like, I have to talk to them. So I DM'd her, and we have a very in-depth interview with them on the site too. That one's under the Fans for Charity page.
Okay, so on I'm gonna jump back to your site.
Sure.
Okay, So I'm going to repeat the website for those of you who joined late. It's called spnfamilycentral.com. And if you hashtag SPN Family Central on Twitter, you will get all of these amazing posts. And on the website, there are fan projects for cast, for family, for charity. There are cast projects. The Always Keep Fighting campaign, Brandon Max and Gishwa's film projects and charity. And then there's a link to interviews with crafty creative fans, and there might be one about me in there too.
Maybe. I think you're in there somewhere. Wow.
But, this site is just the culmination of so much love that you have for the fandom, and that really comes through. And I strongly urge everyone to please visit spnfamilycentral.com, and you will definitely find something that resonates to you. Just read through these projects that the fans are doing alone. Just that alone is worth the price of admission. It's free site, by the way.
For now. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
And honestly, the other reason I like it is, you know, if you ever hit this point where you're just like fandom frustrated for whatever reason, you know, just you can go to there and be like, okay, there's drama, but this is all the good stuff we've done too. So.
Yes. And I mean, let the good stuff be the rule and not the exception. I'm sorry. Somebody's Rogue asking another non sequitur. I've never been able to make out who the Cylon on your wall is. Oh, that's not a Cylon. That's my husband dressed as Cyclops.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
a good picture.
Thank you. Yeah. So not a Cylon, Cyclops. And he's all mine.
So do you dress up as Jane Grey?
No, well, I have the hair for it now, but no, actually what we used to do before I started working at conventions, when I was an attendee at conventions, not necessarily natural ones, but when I was an attendee, I would dress as Rogue, because I had the gold hair at the time. I had the brown with the white or the blonde, and yeah, so my nerd's flying real high right now. But yeah, that's we would be Cyclops and Rogue, and nice. I guess I could be Jean Grey now. But yeah, so how can we tie that back to Supernatural? Oh well,
I'm working on it.
Well, I was watching on Netflix yesterday the episode with Chrissy where she said, you know, it's not X-Men.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we're
reaching, but we got there. We made it back.
Wait, she wrote, wait, Daryl Dixon is Cyclops. Shh. Okay, well, now that we officially lost our mind, I want to take a moment to thank you tremendously for spending time with us tonight.
Sure, it was fun.
Central.com is a plethora of amazingness and awesomeness. And, you know, just reading all of the great things that you've been able to pull together and build a community in the fandom, and all of the great things that you have lined up. I'm so excited, and I am more than happy to support and promote. And I hope all of you out there will give it a shot. You can follow Kat at ChaosLilCat, and I'll write that Twitter handle here in the chat window.
Yep. And if you know of any projects or anything, anybody out there, hit me up, because I need some. So
yes, bring on the creativity, and don't forget to also go to fanfiction.net and to, what was the other one? I got
Wattpad.
Because now I'm excited about the fanfic that you've written, and I would love to see that too. See your creative endeavors. So, and again, congratulations to Ms. for the Supernatural Kindness Catchphrase Contest, Kindenss, the SPN family business. And
Okay.
I will see, hopefully, some of you guys at DallasCon. And I will get to see the auction, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, you'll get to. Well, we're giving the art to Travis that day. The auction's not going to be that day, but
okay.
he's collecting it. He's getting the art, and then I'm assuming going to get it signed, and then it will go up on Truth's site to be auctioned sometime in the future.
Gotcha.
So you're going to have to keep a hold of.
The auction was at the convention. Okay.
No. He's got to get it all signed and everything, and I think he's there through till Saturday sometime. So hopefully he gets everything all signed, and so there should be some signed fan art on Truth's page at some point in the future, which is exciting for everybody. So that'll be a lot of fun. And don't forget your trivia question.
Oh, thank you.
It was a good one.
Yes. Kat actually came up with the question, and you are allowed to participate in the contest if you've not won anything from me in the past 8 weeks. So if you've not won anything from me in the past 8 weeks, you may answer this question. Where was the things that you and I went through to get this question? Where was the pilot episode of Supernatural filmed? And I will accept. No, you know what? I'll just leave it at that, and I'll see what answers.
If Sue's still on, she'll probably answer in about 5 seconds.
Sue, you still there?
If she's still watching, she's packing for DallasCon, so I don't know if she's still on there, but if she is, she'll answer in about 5 seconds.
Let's see. Let's scroll down this.
They're all hurriedly looking it up on their phones right now. Where was it?
Sue, you're a rock star. Congratulations, Sue. Yes, the pilot episode was filmed in LA.
This was not planned, I promise. Everybody else listening, this was not planned.
It was not fixed, I swear to you. Kat and I were racking our brains before we went live trying to figure out a good trivia question, and you grabbed it.
You didn't know the answer. You didn't know the answer.
You've won a $50 gift certificate to my shop. And if you're going to be at DallasCon, just come to my table and pick something out. That's basically, that's probably easier for you and no shipping. So another reason to come say hi. So come see me.
She's going to have the best con ever. She's going to get to meet Travis to give out artwork, and now she gets your jewelry for free.
Christmas in September. Thanks for reminding me to do the trivia. That would have sucked because I have it written down here and I would have disconnected, being like, oh yeah, that was dumb. I have to bribe my viewers to stay on with me, right? With that, I want to thank you again. Awesome to chat with you for the past year. You're an amazing human being, and I'm so glad that I got to know you. And I thank Supernatural because now I have another friend that and I'm so happy. I just, I get speechless at times like this because I get overwhelmed. I actually get all these emotions and stuff, and I'm just so grateful for this fandom because now I have another friend because of said. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for inviting me.
Anytime you want to do a second one, we'll line you up. And Sue said the pizza is here. Does that mean anything?
Oh, yeah, because I'm going over to her house for pizza after this.
So I don't want your pizza to get cold. I don't know what you do.
No worries.
FamilyCentral.com. Everybody visit. And I will see y'all next week. Oh, Pizza Man. I'm going to make the Pizza Man comment.
And everything links back to Supernatural.
And we brought it back. We brought it back again. Okay.
Oh, God, that was great.
Thank you.
Oh Lord. Perfect. Oh, I'll tweet you my fan fiction links too, real quick, so you can retweet those too.
I would be happy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Kat. Have a good day.
Alrighty. All right. Talk to you later.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.